What's up, everyone? Welcome to my OSCP, I guess, not really a review, like a recap of my experience. Yes, I did pass the OSCP 79 days into enrolling into PWK. Pretty happy about that, but I figured I'd make a quick video just kind of sharing my thoughts on it. Before I get started, as usual, please do me a favor, hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps me out, and it just means a lot. So I really appreciate it. So some topics I'm going to cover. I'm going to cover enrolling in PWK, my study strategy that worked for me, the retake policy and how that kind of played into my whole OSCP experience. And then I guess just my experience as a whole, what I did differently between my first exam attempt and my second one, and closing thoughts. So I'm not going to be talking about anything that gives anything away about the exam. So if you're looking for tips, tricks, shortcuts, whatever, you're not going to find them here. You're not going to find them in any of my videos, to be honest. But, you know, one, it's not ethical, and two, these certifications are pretty difficult. There's no way that, you know, a shortcut is going to help you get any of them. And, you know, you're kind of cheating yourself if you're not actually trying to learn. But enough lecturing. Let's get into it. So enrolling. So before you enroll, if you are married, if you have a girlfriend, if you live with your parents, whatever, roommate, talk to them and make sure that they understand the time commitment that is involved, because even if you may not realize it, the PWK course, and to really master the skills to pass the OSCP, it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort, unless, you know, you're already a seasoned pro, in which case I'm not really sure why you're watching this video. But it took a lot of time. So I actually had a conversation with my significant other beforehand, and I said, hey, look, these next 90 days are going to be kind of hell, and, you know, I'm not going to be a complete piece of crap, but I just want you to know that, you know, I'll be pretty busy, and you have to get their okay on it, because if you get their support, then you can just focus on this and really be successful. Family support is critical. So once you do decide to enroll, you're going to look at the different options. So in front of you, you can see the different packages. So they have the 30-day, 60-day, 90-day labs. Now, here is the thing. So they provide you with the lab time, and they provide you with the PDF. So I took the new version of the OSCP, and the PDF was over 800 pages. So it took me over 2 weeks, actually about 2.5 weeks, to get through the entire PDF, to do all the exercises, and that was working full-time on it. I actually, let me pull up this log here. So this log shows you kind of, I tracked how many hours per day, just out of curiosity, I was spending. So even working full-time like this, it still took me over 2 weeks. And now if you have other commitments that you have to focus on in addition to studying for PWK, it may take you about a month or so to finish the PDF. So with that being said, I do recommend that everybody just sign up for the 90-day. Another reason why is if you look at the cost breakdown, I mean, you're looking at, you know, just about $1,000 versus $11.99 for 60 days or $13.49 for 90 days. But then if you don't finish and then you want to go back and extend, look at the lab extension costs. You're going to end up paying more than you did if you were to just sign up for the 90 days right from the get-go. So, you know, it's up to you. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just here to kind of maybe give you a little bit of insight, but what makes most sense to you? That's why I kind of do believe that 90 days would be the best way to go. So now I want to talk real quick about my strategy. I'm not going to tell you that this is the best way, you should do it this way, because everybody's different. Everybody's learning style is different. But the end result, if you are successful in obtaining your OSCP, is you're going to get a good solid foundation of that hacker mindset. So this is kind of just my way of how I was able to actually unsuccessfully obtain the OSCP and then later be successful in that. This is just what worked for me. So I did the entire PDF first. I didn't touch Metasploit, not once. I have more than enough experience with Metasploit because of the ECPPT put on by eLearn Security. So I felt pretty comfortable with that. And I knew that the exam doesn't allow, or excuse me, it allows you, I believe, one Metasploit usage. So there are pretty strict rules on that. So why use a tool if you want to get better by not using it? In the real world, it's a different story, and I can talk about that later, but that's not what we're here to do. So I did the entire PDF first. I did all the exercises. I went through the PDF. And my whole argument is always do the exercises, read through the PDF, do the exercises. I mean, you just spent, almost $1,400 on this course. Why wouldn't you do the work that you paid for the course? So do the work so you can learn it. I don't understand why people skip it. Plus, you get extra points on one of the hardest certifications out there. So anything that can get me extra points, I'm absolutely for. And so I try not to use Offensive Security's motto, try harder, because, and I have personal feelings, towards that, against it, whatever. But I do have to use it in this one instance because it does make sense. If you don't do the exercises, you're literally not trying harder. You're not even really trying. So, I mean, but hey, it's your own prerogative. So, whether you do them or not, that's up to you. So when I was planning to take this, I also took a look at the retake policy because I had heard that that's just changed. And I was a little upset about the increase in length. So as you can see, the retake policy shows, if you fail after your first attempt, you have to wait 4 weeks, then it's 8 weeks, and then it's 12 weeks after that. Now, I kind of assumed that, hey, plan for the worst, you're going to retake this at least once. So I also did budget for that, and $150 is more than what they used to charge before the update. I believe before they used to charge something like $75. Correct me if I'm wrong. But even $150 for a retake is not a lot considering the certification you're going after. I'm pretty sure my CompTIA Network Plus certification was more than $150. So I still think it's more than fair. So with the adjusted timeline that the retake policy enforces, what I did was I aimed for 90 days is when I would take my second retake. My first retake, my second attempt. So I backtracked 4 weeks back from that 90-day mark, and that's when I scheduled my first exam attempt. And as soon as I got in there, I scheduled the exam attempt before I even started the labs, or even the PDF. So, and I'm not sure, because if you take a look at this retake policy, it is a little vague, and the way I understand it is you can keep retaking, 4 weeks and then 8 weeks and then 12 weeks thereafter, but I believe this is only valid until you hit your 6 months from your initial start date. So take that into consideration. It's not like, I don't believe that it's like, okay, you can take it every 12 weeks after that, in perpetuity. That's kind of just the way I saw it. I could be wrong, but it is a little vague, so that's kind of how I took it. Okay, so what I did, I guess my journey, if you will. So after 43 days or so, I got pretty impatient. So I moved my exam date up and I took my first exam attempt. Before that, I tried to get about 2 boxes a day in the labs. And I will tell you this, the number of boxes that you root in the labs is completely irrelevant. I know people that have passed on their first attempt with, just like me, very little background experience in IT in general, let alone cyber. And they rooted less than 20 boxes and they were able to pass. I also know people who are seasoned IT experts and were boasting that they rooted 45 or even 50 boxes in the labs, and they failed it, and they failed it a second time, and they failed it a third time. So the number of boxes that you root in the labs is completely irrelevant. Me personally, so I did try to get 2 boxes a day. It was just a weird arbitrary number, and because I believe in having goals even though they may not make complete sense, like in this case. I sacrificed a lot of time and sleep, and I worked my butt off. Like, no, there are a few instances in my life where I had worked this hard. I later learned that sometimes this isn't the best way to retain information. So my exam experience, just the first time I took it real down and dirty, I got in there, I had a plan, I executed the plan, I got 25 points within 40 minutes, and then I got another 10 points after that, and then for the next 18 hours, I got nothing. And wow, that was awful. I drank way too much coffee. When I wanted to sleep, I was just laying in bed and it was jittery. Like, it was probably the worst possible way anyone could approach an exam. And honestly, after 20 or 22 hours, I just terminated my VPN connection. I was like, this sucks. I didn't submit my lab report or my exam report because I knew I wasn't going to pass. So instead of making a lab report and an exam report, I just figured, let me just take a few days off to veg and relax, and then get back into it. So after the failure, I decided I was going to take a different approach. I was going to stop tracking how much I studied every day. I was going to have a more relaxed attitude about everything. So no more like 8-9 hour days. No more. Now it was all about, kind of just absorbing the information in a better way and not just, being like rush, 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 go, 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 cram, cram, cram. So I kind of took a different take on their offensive security's try harder motto. So for me now, try harder meant, okay, I'm going to dump the labs. So I literally dumped the PWK labs. I didn't open them at all after the first attempt. And I focused on harder machines. So I went on Hack the Box and I focused on a lot of active machines. And I got my rank up all the way to, I think halfway to Pro Hacker. So just regular hacker, I guess. But Hack the Box has some pretty crazy machines. And they're a lot harder than the OSCP, but I'll get into that in a minute. I also found TJ Null's OSCP Hack the Box list, and that is there. When you go to search for them, there is an updated version, and then there's actually an updated version after that. Actually, what I will do is on my blog, I'll put down a list of the boxes that I did. It's largely based on his list. And that way you can kind of see what boxes I kind of practiced on to really improve my skills. Before I even started Hack the Box, after I failed my exam attempt, I went on YouTube and I watched pretty much every single IPSec video on Hack the Box boxes, paying specific attention to the ones on that list. And I didn't even try to, get on Hack the Box or anything like that. I just watched the videos. I didn't take notes or anything like that. I just watched and I tried to learn and I tried to absorb. After I watched those videos, then I tried doing those boxes. And yes, sometimes you're going to be like, oh, well, he did this in this video. I kind of remember, so this is the path that I'm going to go down. And that doesn't really matter, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to understand the methodology behind it. And, the more you do it, there's something to be said about repetition. It becomes second nature to you. So yes, I did continue to not touch Metasploit. And let me just show you real quick the boxes on Hack the Box that I did. This is kind of a screenshot. I use OneNote for my note taking for labs and whatnot. It's just easiest. And what I will do is I'll actually publish walkthroughs on my blog as well on these boxes. But here's the thing that you're going to get about my walkthroughs that I haven't really found in a lot of other walkthroughs is mostly online. When you go to look for a walkthrough, you're going to see, hey, this is how you get from point A to root, with no real not a lot of explanation, and you don't see a lot of people's the paths that they go down that kind of lead to dead ends or whatnot. The one big exception is IPSec and his YouTube videos. I mean, he does show you, from time to time, what paths, you should be looking at, and what you should be looking to try to enumerate or go down before you go down a different path. And my goal, I hope you get something out of these walkthroughs, because then you can kind of see the methodology that I started to really develop. And to be honest, the learning really started for me after I failed my first time. I was more purposeful with everything I was doing. I wasn't, just trying to find exploits and just, throw them at the machine and seeing what stuck and what worked. It was a lot more purposeful, and I could see my thinking really changed. So my second exam attempt, 79 days in the PWK. You can read about it on my blog for a play-by-play. I will not talk about, at 6 o'clock I did this, at 7 o'clock I did this. You can read about that if you want. But real quick highlights. I took it 79 days in, and compared to the last time where I was exhausted after over 20 hours, I had enough points to pass in 8.5 hours. So crazy improvement from my first attempt. And again, I'm not going to talk about exam specifics, so please don't ask. So now I do want to just real quick talk about some closing thoughts. So my mentor, he told me that the OSCP exam is an exam that few people pass on the first attempt. And when he first told me that, I was kind of like, no, you're wrong. I didn't want to believe him. But honestly, that is the truth. This is good for you for showing interest, let alone, if you've registered already, awesome, go after it. But don't get discouraged if you don't pass it the first time. The way I treat it is every failure is just part of the PWK course. It's just helping you understand things better. I've seen blogs where people have failed it, 4 or 5 or 6 times before they pass it. So don't get down on yourself. You only don't get it if you quit. So keep at it. Persistence is key. So I said I would talk about this earlier. Hack the Box and the OSCP. So Hack the Box, I know that I've seen posts where people will say this is not the case, but I feel strongly that Hack the Box is a lot more difficult than the OSCP. Think about it. The OSCP is still considered an entry-level certification. I don't know if I would call it entry-level, but Hack the Box has some crazy stuff on there. No matter what people tell you, if you can do easy rated boxes and some medium rated boxes on Hack the Box, you're on the right track, you know, in regards to the OSCP. There are crazy things on Hack the Box like port knocking or crazy steganography stuff that, you know, you wouldn't even think to do, that are definitely not incorporated in the POBK material. Another big takeaway is, me personally, I think I absorbed and learned more when I was more relaxed instead of, you know, doing rush after my, you know, first failure. I was actually super relaxed during my second exam attempt. I took breaks like every hour. I even took breaks, I think, like every 45 minutes or so, even if it was like 5-10 minutes. I enjoyed my entire exam experience, and there's something to be said that you start to enjoy something and have fun with it when you really get good at it. So, you know, just make sure you have the methodology down before you do take the exam. Otherwise, you know, your exam attempt might be like my first one. Another real quick thing, when you do take the exam, talk out loud. I actually saw this on a different YouTube video, and I thought, yeah, that's kind of crazy, but it actually helped a lot. You know, talking out loud helps you think out loud, and, you know, helps you see things more objectively. I don't know the right words to say to be able to explain it to you, but it kind of just worked for me. So, you know, real quick, you guys know my background. You know, 6 months ago, I didn't even know how to use the Linux CLI. My progression, it was, you know, I got my CompTIA Network Plus, Security Plus, then I went after the EJPT, then the ECPPT, and now the OSCP. So, and that was all done in like about 8 months or so. So I'm telling you, I had no IT experience, formal IT experience before any of this, aside from, hey, this is a computer, this is how you use it. If I can do this, I promise you, you can do it too. It just takes fortitude, dedication, persistence, you know, just work hard. I'm not going to say like try harder or anything like that, but just work hard, be smart about what you're doing, and try to understand everything. I hope you got something out of this video, whether it's a little bit of motivation, some direction, or even like just some simple insight. If you have any questions for me, please, you know, shoot me a note on my blog, or you can reach out to me here, just comment below, or find me on LinkedIn. But other than that, I hope you got something out of this. Again, please do me a favor and hit like and subscribe. It really means a lot to me. All right, guys, take care.